Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the WoSo Sidelines Report podcast. Today I'm really excited because I'm talking to Anna, who owns a business. She owns a women's football business, W Football Art. I love her stuff. I've been following her for the longest time. She makes really cool pictures and images of all your favourite women's footballers. So I'm really excited today to talk to her about what running a football business looks like, the inspiration behind that, how women's football has helped her run her business, and also any advice that she might have to somebody that wants to open a women's football business. Hello. So please can you introduce yourself,
Anna? Hi, I'm Anna. I'm 20. I'm from Liverpool, and I run W Football Art.
Brilliant. It's been an account I've been following on TikTok since I started this, really. And I absolutely love your work. I love it. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Sorry. Please can you tell me a bit about your interest in the women's game?
Yeah, I mean, being from Liverpool, football's a huge thing anyway, whatever team you support. But I've always, in primary school, I played football. Not like, I'm from a very small town in Liverpool, so it wasn't like much. It was just like on a Monday after school with the lads and one other girl. It wasn't a huge thing.
That's still something, though.
Yeah, it wasn't really a thing in secondary school though. Mm-hmm. It was kind of just, I played in primary school, but I've always followed football, and I was always aware of women's football.
Yeah.
My cousin played on teams.
Oh, okay.
All that jazz. Yeah. Very low league. She'll probably hate me for saying that. But it was always a thing I knew existed. I just wasn't fully clued into it, I'd say.
That makes sense. So when did it kind of become more of a thing for you?
I'd say probably 2019 World Cup, and then progressively just got bigger and bigger, and then obviously the Euros, everything kind of exploded and it all got a lot bigger. So I was like, oh, here we are. But I remember watching all the Lioness vlogs in the 2019 World Cup and thinking they're just in the middle of an airport with no security and just checking in at a desk with everyone else, and I was like, this is so strange. Surely they're going to a World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming back from London a couple of weeks ago and I saw the Stockport County men's team just on the drain.
Yeah.
And they were literally just walking around Euston, which, they're in the English Football League. They're pretty well known. But it's not like the likes of, I don't know, Manchester City men's team. Saying that, Manchester United men's team were spotted getting the train to a game, and they were spotted at Stockport train station.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's mad to think that an England international team was basically doing that, 6 years ago?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't catch them dead on an international normal flight now.
No, could you imagine Leah Williamson just hopping on Northern Rail?
I know, imagine.
So
it's crazy.
Talking about that, who do you support, and kind of when did you started to find that real love of this particular branch of football?
Well, I'm a Red. I support Liverpool.
I apologise about the weekend.
yeah, bit rough, but yeah, we move. Let's not say anything too controversial. But so we've always watched the games. My entire family are huge Liverpool fans. Whenever anything happens, the flag gets hung off the house. Huge. And then so I always remember my dad asking me when I was a kid whether I wanted to go see the women's game, but I'd never even been to a men's game, so I was like, sitting at a match doesn't really fit my vibe, I don't think. But
Fair enough.
I've yeah, it just wasn't me as a child. I was very quiet. And then I obviously started just like the more they were on telly, the more you start to watch it.
Yeah.
And I've been to a few games. I mean, I'm currently third year uni and I don't live in Liverpool.
Yeah.
So getting to games right now is quite
It's
but
difficult.
when I move back after this semester, I'm thinking season ticket. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So tell me about your business, because we've kind of touched on your love of the game and where you've come from that front. But this
Yeah.
episode's all about small businesses in women's football. So tell me about your business.
And well, it kind of just started as me like my dad is also an artist. I've always got it from him that I've always been like doing art. I've always had some sort of crafty thing going on. And then as soon as like I got an iPad for Christmas one year, like in the depths of COVID, because I did my GCSEs when COVID was on, so I didn't have any school.
You're that young.
Yeah, I'm 20.
Let's do my
Yeah.
masters.
Yeah, so it was kind of just like my whole life stopped and I didn't have school when everyone else was doing online school. So
Yeah.
I was just sat there watching telly. And then 2020 Christmas, well, I used to just steal my dad's iPad when he was working to
Yeah.
draw. Then 2020 Christmas, I got my own iPad. And then I was like, I wasn't doing women's football bits at that point. I was kind of just like trying to figure out how it works and whether I can actually draw on an iPad because it's
Yeah.
wildly different. And then when I moved to uni in 2022, I was kind of just sat in my uni account and I was like, I want to draw stuff, but I don't know what to draw. And I can't remember who said it, but they were like, well, what do you enjoy? Just draw that. And I was like, well, that makes so much sense. So then like I started like looking at who I wanted to draw, and then we kind of just spiraled from there, to be honest.
Amazing. So what was it? So we got from how we've got to starting to draw, but what made you decide that you wanted to sell these and let people buy them?
I mean, to be brutally honest, it was a very rogue decision from me.
Okay.
I'm not a very outgoing girl. I was just it was like I think it was like 1 a.m. I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna make an Instagram account. And then just randomly made a logo and I was like, yeah, this will do me.
Yeah.
And then like I wasn't even setting it up to sell at that point. It was just like to share it with people. Because I obviously knew this was like post Euros and I was like, well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people getting on the hype now. Like everyone knows that the women's game's growing. So maybe someone will want to see it. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. And then eventually I was like, oh, I should probably get a TikTok.
Yeah.
That seems to be like a big deal right now. Should probably move on to that as well. And then it kind of just like eventually over the past 2 years just went wild. And then people wanted to buy them. And I was like, my dad had an Etsy. So I was like, well, I should probably do that. We've already got the printer. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Might as well. And like it's very whole different side of my life, but I go with my dad and we sell at Comic Cons.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it's very rogue. So we sell at Comic Con, and I just like slowly started bringing things with me, and like people would start conversations with me, and they actually wanted to buy it at like a Comic Con, and I was like, this is wild. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense to me. In no world did I think that these two would cross over in this scenario. There's like people in cosplay, and they're like, oh yeah, I want Mary Apes, and I'm like, how does that even? Okay, I'm not gonna say no. And then the more like I started doing it, the more people wanted to buy it. So I was like, Why not?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, I mean, my previous life, I'm a business teacher, and things do just start really organically
Yeah.
like that. No, it's really good to hear. So you kind of alluded to it already, but have you seen the demand of your products growing more?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not even just like, I obviously draw prints, but
yeah,
moving on to like mugs and because we already had the machines, I was like, well, I've never seen anyone make a mug with a shirt on before.
yeah.
Specifically when you couldn't buy the goalkeeper shirts. I was like, well, this is crazy. If we can't buy a goalkeeper shirt, let's make a mug with it on.
Just Mary, you need to get this to Mary somehow. You could buy a
I mean,
shirt, but you could buy a mug with her on it.
yeah, it was what still to this day one of my best selling products is a Marriott shirt mug. It
Right,
just
everyone in the comments, tell Mary.
it like blew up, and I was like, this is crazy because I did the shirt coasters at the start of the World Cup, and then like I had people messaging me from Australia and they wanted me to ship them out, and I was like, what is going on? Like some woman in Australia bought like 5 of each kit, and I like shipped them to Australia. I was like, this is the wildest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
So, do you take like requests? Like, did she ask for the lionesses, or was she more after the Tildas?
No, she bought Lioness coasters.
Amazing.
It was crazy. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say no to that one. And then obviously like shipping's crazy, so I had to figure out all
Yeah,
that crazy
shipping's
stuff.
mad, isn't it?
Mhm.
I tried to
Yeah.
ship something to India a couple of years ago, and I tried to do it through Amazon, and Indian customs kept like emailing me. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Do you know what? I'm just gonna go and take it myself."
Customs forms are crazy.
Yeah,
Um, but like the whole thing was just, and then more and more people wanted certain things. So someone would comment something and I'd be like, that's a good idea. Maybe I can make that happen. And then like going from just prints, I was like, I had the England mugs,
yeah,
I had the blue kit, the white kit, and the three keeper kits as an option with like options to personalize them and everything. And then people were like, "Oh, do you do WSL clubs?" I was like, "Well, not currently, but maybe."
yeah,
And then like I started doing that, and obviously Arsenal's huge, so that's
yeah.
the Candy Floss kit mug still sells.
Oh, but that kit's beautiful.
It is, and it pains me to say sometimes, but it is
Yeah.
beautiful. Every time I print it, it comes out so nice, and I'm like, oh,
I would not be surprised if people start asking you for the Spanish away kit.
yeah. The kits that came out this week, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, those are crazy.
The Scottish kit.
Yeah, the pink one,
Yeah,
beautiful.
I know. And our rumoured one. Oh,
I know. I'm really hoping that that was just a prank that someone pulled, and like that's not gonna happen because I think I might cry.
I'm really hoping that was Serena on Canva. Like, let's have a little giggle. At the same time where she decided to not include Chloe Kelly, and then a week later
Yeah,
include her.
yeah, just like psych, she's actually going.
Yeah, I hope it was her just going, oh, that's blue, that's red, that's
Yeah,
white.
let's just throw it all in a shirt and see what happens.
Yeah, bring back the purple kit.
Hmm. But like, it started as and obviously continues to be me drawing
Yeah,
because that's where my love came for it.
yeah,
But then drawing the kits is a whole different thing of itself, and like making coasters.
yeah.
Like I did like a big last year. I did like a 6 month project of women in sport, And that was crazy because I started it, I was like, oh, this would be a good idea. And then the more I spoke to people, I was like, I've opened a huge can of worms here. How can I just choose 12 people?
Yeah.
It was crazy. So now I'm like, well, I've done one. I'm probably going to have to keep doing it because there's more than 12 incredible women who play sports and are in the game. Like, I was like, oh, you've made loads of work for yourself, but it's fine. It worked out. So,
So what we're saying is it's grown massively, like the
yeah,
women's game.
basically, yeah.
I love that for you. So with it growing so big, how are you managing to run a small business, have a life, do your third year at uni, and still follow the
Yeah.
game? Because I know when I was in my third year at uni, like I did quite a bit. Like I had a job and I was involved in the students' union and all of that, but I couldn't breathe. So how are you doing it?
It's a pretty crazy time right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Writing my dissertation while doing all of this is kind of crazy. But the way I'm thinking of it is like, I've got what, 3 months, possibly four,
yeah,
of like putting everything into my dissertation and doing the rest of my modules. And then it's summer and I can fully focus on it.
yeah. What are you studying?
I think uh, it's so random and not
Oh,
connected
don't
ever.
worry, I've
It's
got some really random degrees.
theology and religion.
That's not random.
No, it is. Because whenever I say, anyone's like, "Are you going to be a priest?" And I'm like, "No." We
I
like
mean,
very rarely cover Christianity.
maybe it's because I taught at a Catholic school and there are loads of kids that did theology A level that I don't think is
Maybe.
random. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think it's random. I'm going to validate your degree choice here.
Thank you.
It's
I mean,
valid.
there's 8 people on my course, so
Listen, my
you know.
master's is humanitarianism and conflict response. When am I going to a war zone? I'm not.
It might come in handy one day. You never know.
At the Etihad, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. Things happen. But I have somehow managed to include sport in my dissertation, so you know,
That's
it
good.
all comes together.
What are you doing your dissertation on?
The impact of religion on the mental health of athletes.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
it's
That's brilliant.
I was like, I was when I started thinking about it, I was like, this it's so broad,
Mm,
and I don't know what I'm gonna choose. But what do I like? Sports. Can I somehow make that work? And then I managed to convince my supervisor that it would work, and then she was actually really on board with it, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this then.
no, I think that's a really valid dissertation, in fairness. I mean, I'm trying to work out what my thesis is going to be at the moment, and it's, yeah,
Crazy.
we won't talk about my PhD. So back to your business. What have you seen being your biggest win in all of this?
um, I mean, there's so many crazy things that have just happened, and I'm just kind of sat here in my student house thinking, what's going on? Like, like even when a player likes your story, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. They
Yeah,
know, they know that I've joined them, and that's kind of weird, but okay. Um, or like I get messages of people like saying how much they love something that they've bought, or even just like people want to like videos that I make
yeah,
and reposting them. I'm like, this is crazy. Or I've done one event solely women's football, but
that's.
I'm doing another one next month.
I've seen this on TikTok. Tell me about this.
Yeah, women's football fair. It's organised by, do you know Throwback Tops?
I, I think I follow them. Yeah,
Yeah, they're doing like a solely women's football event. So there's like, I think there's 20 vendors, I want to say. And then there's the Kickback. I don't know if you've heard of them, but
Yeah.
she's doing like interviews in another room with certain people, and there's like an interview, a recorded interview with the player, and obviously it's on the it's on the 15th of March, so it's obviously the final day, but they're going to stream the final
I was gonna say that
while
would
we're
be
there
so
as
good if
well.
that was in Derby.
Oh no. I think they've gone for Birmingham because it's got, well, one, it's where they're from, but it's also like in the middle.
Yeah,
Like it's not too far from kind of everywhere.
yeah.
So I'm kind of just like trying to plan what to take, what to do.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it before. I think I'm quite confident in what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, okay.
But everything changes when you get there anyway. You have plans and then
Yeah.
you look at the table and then you're like, I could do better than that.
Yeah, and I think it's just about figuring those things out, isn't it? Because I've done trade
Yeah.
schemes with the kids I taught, and we get there and we think our stuff was mint, and then you'd find somebody has a live tree like
Yeah,
on their
it's
table,
crazy.
and you're like, okay, right, well ours is just
People rock up with like spinning LEDs and I'm like,
yeah.
what planet are we on?
Where's everyone getting all these LEDs from for their trade stands? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I've just got like an A3 piece of paper with me logo on.
Oh, that's all you need. That's all you need. That and a
Exactly.
tablecloth, you're fine. Maybe stick some
Yeah.
battery powered fairy lights on, you're good.
We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping that if anything, it's a good networking event
Yeah, definitely.
because everyone at these type of events is like the most lovely people you'll ever meet, and even just talking to people is just wild. And they're like, "Oh, I've seen you," and I'm like, "Have you? This is weird." Or like I've commented on one of your videos. I'm like, "Oh, scary."
I've started to get that at football matches. People come up to me like, "Oh, I follow you on TikTok," or "Oh, I've seen your match report on this," and I'm like,
Yeah. Sometimes I'm doing it and I'm like, although I'm seeing that like people are liking it and commenting on it,
yeah,
like having that in the actual real world is bizarre.
yeah, because
Totally.
I did a TikTok the other day, and it was just me ranting about Ellie Robot, not about Ellie Robot, but about people
No, I seen that one. I know what
speculating.
you're on about.
Yeah, of just about people speculating on her injuries and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and 4,000 people have watched it, which
Yeah.
I mean isn't unusual, like in terms of my viewing. Like, it's not a shock, but I'm just sat there, and I sat on the way to work today, and I was just thinking, 4,000 people have just watched me.
When you actually deep the numbers, it's so scary, isn't it?
Yeah, like, but they sat there watching me with no makeup on at 10
Yeah.
o'clock at night, ranting in my UD.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I mean, I
mental.
constantly do videos in my UD,
Yeah.
and my mum brings me and she's like, "Why have you posted that?" And I'm like, "What?"
See, my mum watches
I'm
all this
comfy.
stuff. She's not said that.
And I'm like, "What? I'm comfy."
Well, this one video, it's got 120,000 views,
That's
and I'm just like,
crazy.
why are 120,000 people watching my stuff?
Yeah. It actually baffles me because when if that was like in real life and
Yeah,
you'd seen that many people in a room, you'd be like, "Oh my god."
I'd leave. And
Yeah,
I'm not even
100%.
there.
I wouldn't even make it past the door.
No. And so,
It's
kind
crazy.
of on that, what do you think's been the biggest challenge?
I think for me, it's been having the confidence
Mm.
and the back of myself that like people actually want to see what I'm doing. Even the first time I did a voiceover, I was petrified. I must have filmed it about 20 times. I was like, no one wants to hear my voice, especially with my accent. Like I came to uni and everyone knows where you're from before you'd even say it. And I'm like, right, I see we've got some sort of thing going on here. But it's like the thought that people actually want to see what I've done next or want to hear what I've got to say. Although I don't really touch on anything too dramatic.
Yeah.
But hearing my voice, a lot of times people are just ultimately scared when I walk past someone in the street and it's like, but just having the confidence to actually post a video where ultimately you could end up on the wrong side of any platform.
Yes.
Which is a scary thought in itself. When you're there,
thinking women's football at the moment.
100% ending up on like that side of TikTok that absolutely hates it is wild. And sometimes quite vulgar. But when you end up on the side where like everyone's like, oh my god, this is crazy, this is amazing, whatever. Or like suggesting, even people like asking me to do a certain player next.
Yeah.
I'm like, you actually want to see what I make of that person is crazy. It's just like confidence has always been a big thing for me, but knowing how wide of one a community I've already made, but how far I could possibly go baffles me.
I think that's a really kind of lovely note actually to end on. So thank you so much for all your time today, Anna. Where can we find you? Where can we get all your stuff? Where can I blog with your picture on it?
I have the same handle on TikTok, Instagram. Etsy is slightly different, but now that I'm over 1,000 followers, it's linked in my TikTok anyway. So when you find one, you can find all the others, to be honest.
Amazing. Well, they'll all be in the description of this video anyway. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I think you'll agree it was an absolute pleasure talking and listening to Anna talk about her passion for the game and her passion for her business. Next week, next Tuesday, I will be bringing you another episode of WoSo Sidelines Reports podcast where I'll be talking to another one of your favourite people within women's football. Thank you for listening and have a good week.